If your conditional formatting looks broken, it usually isn't. Most of the time, one rule is simply taking over and blocking the others. That's why you get the classic symptoms. The wrong color wins, everything turns the same shade, or the rule you just made seems to do nothing. The fix is rarely a new formula. It's almost always rule order, applied range, or a stop if true setting. Once you understand those three, conditional formatting becomes predictable again. Here's the core idea. Excel evaluates rules in a sequence, and it applies formats based on what matches first and what's allowed to continue. So you can have correct logic, but still get the wrong result because the rules are stacked badly. In the next few minutes, you'll build a simple mental model, then a repeatable checklist. After that, you'll be able to debug almost any overriding everything case in under a minute. Next step. First, lock in the mental model. Conditional formatting is not a single decision. It's a list of rules, checked one by one. For each cell, Excel asks, does Rule 1 match this cell? If yes, apply that formatting. Then it moves to the next rule, unless stop if true is enabled for a rule that matched. If stop if true is on, Excel stops evaluating lower rules for that cell. If it's off, Excel keeps going, and later rules may add formats or replace them. That replace part matters. If two rules both set a fill color, the later applied fill color wins. If one sets bold and another sets a fill, you can end up with both. So, overriding often means two rules are fighting over the same format property. The takeaway is simple. You don't just need correct conditions. You need a clean priority order, and you need to decide where evaluation should stop. That's the foundation for every fix that follows. Next step. Let's talk about the most common failure, a broad rule placed above a specific rule. Imagine you have a rule that colors blanks gray, and another rule that colors overdue dates red. If the blank rule is too broad, or it's above the overdue rule with stop if true, it can prevent the overdue formatting from ever showing. The fix is to rank rules by specificity. Put the most specific, most important outcomes at the top. Put general cleanup rules like blanks, text contains, or default banding near the bottom. Then decide where stop if true belongs. A good default is, only use stop if true when you truly want a single outcome for a cell, like a status label that should not be modified by anything else. When you reorder, you're not changing your logic, you're changing priority. And that's why reordering often feels like magic, because the formulas were fine the whole time. Next step. Now, the stop if true checkbox deserves its own explanation because it's misunderstood. Stop if true does not mean this rule is correct. It means if this rule matches, ignore the rest. That's powerful and dangerous. If you enable it on a rule that matches many cells, it will look like your other rules stopped working. A classic example is a rule like cell is not blank. That matches almost everything, so it blocks everything below. Another subtle case is overlapping thresholds, like greater than 0, above greater than 100. If stop if true is on for the first rule, the 100 plus rule never runs. The safer pattern is to reserve stop if true for mutually exclusive categories. If your rules represent a ladder of thresholds, you can use stop if true, but only if the order goes from highest to lowest, or most restrictive to least restrictive. Otherwise, you're cutting off your own logic. Next step. Next issue. The applies to range. This is where rules quietly go wrong after you copy, insert rows, or expand a table. A rule can be perfect, but if it applies to the wrong cells, it will look random. So your debugging step is to check whether the rule is targeting the correct range and shape. Watch for two patterns. 1. The range is split into multiple blocks, often caused by copying formatted cells into different areas. 2. The range is offset, like starting one row too low, so the formula references don't line up. The fix is to consolidate the range into one clean block whenever possible. If you're working with a structured table, prefer applying the rule to the entire table column, not a manually selected range. And if you're using a formula-based rule, confirm that the top left cell of the applies to range is the reference anchor you intended. Most it highlights the wrong row problems come from that anchor being off by 1. Next step. Let's get precise about formula-based conditional formatting, because small reference mistakes create big confusion. In conditional formatting formulas, Excel evaluates the formula for each cell in the applies to range, using relative references from the top left anchor. So if you want to format an entire row based on one column, you typically lock the column, not the row. For example, you might want the rule to check column D for a status, then color columns A through H. That usually means a reference like D2, not $2, and not $2. If you lock both, every row checks the same cell and everything formats the same. If you lock the wrong part, the rule drifts as it moves across columns. When formatting whole rows, a reliable habit is lock the column you're testing, keep the row relative. Then confirm the applies to range starts on the same row number used in your formula. That alignment is what makes the logic repeat correctly down the sheet. Next step. Another common reason conditional formatting seems to override everything is duplicate or near-duplicate rules. These often appear after copying a sheet, using Format Painter, or pasting values while keeping formats. You end up with two rules that look the same, but one has a slightly different applies to range, or a different format. Excel will evaluate both, and whichever rule is later in the order may win on properties like fill color. The result feels inconsistent because the duplicates don't cover the exact same cells. The cleanup approach is straightforward. First, sort out the intent. How many distinct outcomes do you actually need? Then delete duplicates aggressively. After that, rebuild the remaining rules so each one has a clean applies to range and a clear priority. If you want multiple formats, like a fill plus bold text, consider putting them in one rule instead of two competing rules. Fewer rules with clearer intent is usually more stable and easier to maintain. Next step. Let's cover a tricky one, mixing cell value rules with formula rules. A cell value rule like greater than 0 is evaluated based on the cell being formatted. A formula rule can reference other cells and can behave like a row-level test. When you mix them, you can accidentally create overlapping conditions that weren't obvious. For example, you might have a formula rule that colors a row yellow if a checkbox column is true, and a cell value rule that colors negative numbers red. If both apply to the same cells, you need to decide which visual message is more important. If the red is a warning, it should likely outrank the yellow. If the yellow indicates inactive, maybe it should override everything and use stop if true. The key is to treat conditional formatting like a visual hierarchy. Decide what must be seen first, then order rules to match that hierarchy, and avoid having two rules set the same property unless you're okay with one winning. Next step. Sometimes the complaint is, my conditional formatting doesn't update. That can be a calculation issue, not a formatting issue. Conditional formatting depends on the underlying values being current. If your formatting is driven by formulas like today, now, or a volatile lookup, and calculation is set to manual, the colors may not refresh when you expect. Also, if your rule references another workbook or a large formula chain, updates can lag. The practical fix is to confirm calculation mode and then force a recalculation when needed. But the deeper fix is to simplify the dependencies. Prefer referencing a helper column that produces a clean true or false, or a numeric score, and then format based on that. It makes the rule easier to read and easier to debug. Conditional formatting formulas are hardest to troubleshoot when they contain nested logic. If you move that logic into a worksheet cell, you can test it directly, and your formatting becomes a simple, stable check. Next step. Here's another silent killer. Inconsistent data types. Conditional formatting can appear wrong when your numbers are actually text or your dates are stored as text strings. A rule like greater than 30 will behave differently if the cell contains the text 100. A date rule like last 7 days won't match if the date is text. The result looks like conditional formatting is ignoring obvious values. A quick test is to check whether the values align right like numbers usually do, or whether they behave oddly in calculations. The long-term fix is to normalize the data, convert text numbers to real numbers, convert text dates to real dates, and trim hidden spaces. Once the data is consistent, your rules become reliable. If you can't fully clean the source, you can sometimes work around it by using a formula rule that converts the value, but that adds complexity and can slow down large sheets. Clean data beats clever rules. Next step. If you work with tables, filters, and sorting, there's a specific pitfall: rules that were applied to a static range instead of the table column. When you add new rows, the rule may not extend, so it looks like conditional formatting stopped working for new data. Or after sorting, the pattern may look inconsistent because some rows are outside the applies to range. The stable approach is to attach rules to the table structure. Apply the rule to the entire table column or to the full table data body range, so it grows automatically. Also be careful with rules that reference the row above, like checking for duplicates in a sorted list. Sorting changes adjacency, so the rule might still be correct, but the meaning changes. If adjacency matters, build a helper column that defines the relationship you want, rather than relying on the current sort order. That keeps your formatting meaningful, even when the data moves. Next step. Now let's turn everything into a fast debugging checklist you can run every time. Step 1. Identify the cell that looks wrong and list which outcomes you expect. Step 2. Open the rule list and check the order. Put the most important, most specific rule at the top. Step 3. Scan for stop if true on any broad rule. If a broad rule can match that cell, it can block everything. Step 4. Verify the applies to range is correct and not split. Step 5. Inspect the formula references, especially absolute versus relative. Step 6. Look for duplicates and delete them. Step 7. Confirm the underlying values are the type you think they are, like real dates and real numbers. If you follow that sequence, you'll usually find the problem before you even reach step 7. The big win is consistency. You're not guessing anymore. You're checking the few levers that actually control conditional formatting behavior. Next step. To wrap this up, think of conditional formatting like traffic rules for styles. Order controls who goes first. Stop if true controls who gets the right of way. And applies to controls which streets the rule even applies to. When conditional formatting overrides everything, it's almost always because one rule is too broad, too high, or stopping the rest. If it doesn't work, it's often aiming at the wrong range, referencing the wrong anchor cell, or reading values stored as text. Once you fix those, your rules start behaving in a stable, repeatable way. If you want, you can take it one step further and standardize your sheets. Keep a small set of rules, name your helper columns clearly, and avoid stacking multiple rules that set the same fill color. That's how you prevent the problem from coming back. If this was helpful, subscribe for more practical Excel troubleshooting that saves time. And for a quick check-in, comment with your bigger pain point, rule order or applies to range. Small tweaks compound into massive performance gains. Subscribe to catch the next workflow optimization.